victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers.
Today we're going to be talking to my friend Vicky. She's one of my best friends, and she has no idea what today's topic is. So I'm going to fill y'all in a little bit. The case today is going to be of Sylvia Likens. If you know the case, you know it's brutal. If you don't want a brutal case, go to bed. All right, let's get her on the line. Let's go. Warning, this podcast is for mature audiences only. Yes, I'm talking to you, little girl covered up with her unicorns and her Care Bears. This will give you nightmares. There will be talks of murder, rape, and a lot of foul language on my part. So go to bed. Hey guys, I'm here with Vicky. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm Kaylee's friend.
No way!
Shut up. I've known her since freshman year. Actually, now that I think about it, I think we met in PE class freshman year because I don't know if it was you and Leslie. No, I met you through a mutual friend.
What's your favorite memory? Like when you think of us?
Yeah, we've been friends for a while now.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, because we met, that was 15, 14, 15.
Oh my God.
And now I'm 28.
Oh, so many years ago. What memory goes to your mind? Comes to your mind?
Oh my gosh. Am I blank? My favorite memory. I don't remember. That's the thing. We've been friends for so long.
Yeah. You know what memory comes to my mind?
No, I'm scared.
You should be.
This might not be good.
No, look, we are not responsible for anything we did in the 9th grade, okay?
Oh, shit.
I remember.
No. Hold on, wait. Okay, go ahead.
I remember we were in PE.
Uh-huh.
All right, and we went into the locker room, which you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to go into the locker room when you're in gym class. And we were going through the rich bitch's purse, and I stole $100.
I remember that. Catface. You remember we used to call her Catface?
Is that her name? Or what is that? Yeah,
we used to call her Catface. Yeah. Because it was like a cat.
So, yeah, sorry, Listen,
well, it wasn't just it wasn't out of the ordinary, let's just do this. I mean, she was an actual bitch to us.
She was a total bitch.
She had it coming. I would say, you remember your 16th birthday party with Leslie?
Yes.
I remember going there and it being awkward because I was pregnant.
Were you?
I was, and people knew. And I was getting hardcore, stared down. What is she doing here? She's pregnant. She shouldn't be. I'm we're literally at a restaurant. Her mom is right over there. We're just dancing and having soda. It's not we're not here getting drunk and high and shit.
My mom rented out. It was a bar.
It was a sweet 16th birthday party.
It was a bar, but she knew the owner, so she rented it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we were 16. We were not drinking. We were not doing drugs.
Wait, no, I have a better memory now that I think about it. Remember when I think I turned 18 or 19 and I had that bonfire? You remember that?
Yes! The legendary picture, I'll post it.
Shit, that was insane.
I just look super high for no reason.
It was so funny because my sister was what's in because we have the red cups.
Yeah.
No, I was holding a vitamin water bottle. She's that doesn't look like vitamin water. What are you guys doing? I'm our parents are here, right over there. What do you mean? I'm not doing anything crazy. We just look stupid. That's just our natural look.
I got that all the time that I looked high, but my eyes are just low, okay? I'm not... I did not smoke till after I got out of high school. And
I think that's the truth. Yeah, I think that's the same for me. I think the first time I smoked was with Caitlin. But I remember that bonfire, we were running through the woods, making it seem like somebody was hurt. And then we had to go pee. We went inside the trailer, and I'm pretty sure that floor almost fell in. It was so dark.
I don't remember that.
That shit was so fun.
I don't remember a lot of stuff. like my memory's
I remember
just
everything.
like
It's really bad.
repressed.
I wish I didn't remember everything.
I wish I did, because people are like, "Oh, remember this? Oh, that was so much fun." And I'm like, "No, I don't really remember that."
Not today.
All right. Well, today I have picked out the
I'm so
case
excited.
of
What is it?
Sylvia Likens.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Is it like, okay, because I told you to pick out like the scariest,
Yes,
goriest,
and it is
insane.
It is raw.
Oh my god,
And I will tell you that.
Okay.
A trigger warning for anybody that does not want to hear about it. It's pretty bad.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh my god, let's get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sylvia Likens. She was born January 3rd, 1949. I'm going to give you a little backstory here.
Okay.
Sylvia was 16. Her sister, Jenny, was 15. Her sister, Jenny, had polio.
Okay.
So she had braces on her legs. Mm-hmm. Their parents were carnival workers. Their names were Lester and Betty.
Lester.
And what happened is I get two conflicting stories. I get that Lester and Betty moved to Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. And then I have a story where Betty took the girls to Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. So I don't know which is true.
It's one of them.
But it's one of them. Betty got caught shoplifting, and the girls just kind of walked into this girl named Paula. Mm-hmm. And Paula asked her mom. Her mom's name is Gertrude Benichevsky.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah. And her mom took the girls in. Gertrude had 7 kids. Paula was 17, Stephanie 15, John Jr. 12, Marie 11, Shirley 10, James 8, and Dennis 1. The house...
Holy shit, that's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids. Too many. That is a cult.
Their own little circus.
Oh my god. So, their house was filthy. Mm-hmm. Absolutely disgusting. Right. The floors were caked with everything. Oh god. It was absolutely disgusting. They did not have any food in the house. Mm-hmm. They had to go and scavenge for themselves. They would go, in the trash or wherever to find it. And sometimes it said that sometimes Gertrude would get hungry because she didn't eat very much. But when she did, she would send Paula to go get something to eat. Mm-hmm. They went to church and school, had perfect attendance at church and school. Church was the only time they actually, got...
They gotta look good.
Dressed up.
In person.
Yeah. So they had to put on a front.
Yeah.
Bathed and brushed their hair. And a couple days later, the mom and dad showed up and offered Gertrude $20 a week for housing the girls because they had to go with the carnival. So they're like, we'll be gone until November. Mm-hmm. This was in June. Said, all right, we gotta go to the carnival. If you keep the girls, we'll send you $20 a week. All right, cool. So they did not look in the house. No, they did not look in the house.
Wait, what? That's just... Okay, so I'm going to give you my kids. Uh-huh. $20 a week for a month. It's like $80. Yeah. Not going to check your house.
It went for a month.
No?
In June and November.
Okay, so... Okay.
Yeah. So 4 months.
So they're going to...
And I'm not going to look in your house.
And I'm not going to... you could just...
No.
You could be a killer.
Yeah.
A rapist.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mom of the year. For what I heard, Gertrude was very depressed, and she was very not maternal at all.
Ooh. I mean, out of all those kids, she's got to be maternal at some point.
I'm saying, but no, I listen to the Human Monsters podcast, mm-hmm. which is really good. I definitely suggest it to anybody. But with Paula and Stephanie and John Jr., she was really maternal. But with the rest, like, she
Okay, so the oldest ones had her heart, and then the youngest ones were like, eh.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for about a week, things were great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, her kids were very popular and very, in, and so Sylvia and Jenny had a blast. Well, after about a week, when they got home from school, Gertrude brought the girls in the room, had them bend over the beds, pull down their underwear.
Stop.
And beat them a wooden cane.
For why? Just because?
Because their dad's check was late. And
oh, no.
She parades them and is like, look, if your dad doesn't pay up, I'm going to start charging $1 a ride.
See, that's how you know this is going to get worse, because they didn't do anything, and it was just a late check, and she beat them.
And the check literally showed up the next day.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God. True Karen.
Yes. True Karen.
True Karen.
But she did that while Paula sat there and laughed. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
Crazy runs deep in that family.
Oh, I'm saying. So, since there wasn't any food in the house, what they did was they cashed in Coke bottles for a little bit of money so they could get a little food. Well, one day they got a little candy. And, they even put some back for Benedestrovsky kids. Well, when they got home with it, Gertrude was dead set on they stole the candy.
Stop.
I swear. She dragged Sylvia by her hair and beat her with a wooden spoon while Paula and Stephanie watched. Threatened to beat Jenny, and then Sylvia confessed to stealing the candy.
Okay, so not only is the mom crazy, but the kids are like...
Yeah.
Also crazy.
Well, it was like a monarchy system.
Right.
Where they were second in command.
Right.
And then the list of commands goes by age. So it was just, it was crazy. Absolutely insane. But she confessed to stealing the candy even though she didn't.
Jesus Christ.
So from then on, they kind of stayed on the DL and...
Try not to cause any kind of trouble.
Because even the kids would go tell.
Exactly.
If they did something, the kids would go tell and they would get beat for it. So they just kind of walked and was silent and didn't say anything.
Right.
And then one day, the church held a raffle and it had a buffet. Well, the kids hadn't eaten in 3 days.
They went hard.
Sylvia stuffed her face. The kids saw it and went and told Gertrude.
Wait, so they weren't supposed to be eating?
They were supposed to act like they've been eating.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense.
So she confronted her about it in front of the children and guests because this was like the house to be at. So there was always other kids there.
Mm-hmm.
So Gertrude dragged her to the kitchen by her hair, took out stale bread and a jar of sausage from the fridge. Oh. And she just paraded her, do we not feed you? Are you hungry, Sylvia? You little piggy.
Aww.
Piggy Sylvie.
They cry.
Like, yes. Piggy. Yes. And right as she said, are you hungry? Her stomach growled. Loud.
Oh,
everybody heard it. She stuffed the sausage in the bread and said, wait, this isn't good enough for fancy Sylvie. Gotta make it fancy. And drowned it in ketchup and mustard.
I want it.
Like it was falling on the floor, ketchup and mustard.
That's gross.
And, of course, force-fed it to Sylvia. Because she was like, no, I'm not hungry. Like, no. Like,
to be honest, I don't think I'd want a stale sausage sandwich.
No, I'm good. Like, I'm not hungry.
Drenched in ketchup and mustard.
And she's like, no, you're hungry. That's not what your stomach said. Like, no, like, Sylvia's hungry. Let's feed her. A little piggy. So she shoved it in and out of her mouth while ranting and raving, putting her dirty fingers in her mouth to shove it down her throat. Oh, and Sylvia threw it up.
Ugh. I would... No.
So, what'd she do? She made her lick it off of the filthy...
Shut the fuck up.
...floor.
Shut the fuck up. She made her lick her vomit off the floor?
Yes.
No fucking way.
It gets totally worse,
no,
dude.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Put her foot on her back and made her lick up her own pee.
I could not even imagine doing. Just like, no, she actually did it. So she ate it.
Yeah, she had to. What else is she gonna do?
She's gonna eat it and then throw up again. That's what I would do. She like an ongoing
because
thing.
then she would have kept having to eat it. So she just forced it down. And then after she was done, she picked her up, wiped her face, and said she's learned her lesson. Went and tucked her into bed and stroked her hair till she fell asleep.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
What the fuck is wrong with this woman?
Oh my gosh. It was...
Okay, mommy dearest. What the fuck?
It's so crazy. The next week, her parents visited.
Oh no.
And when they met at Garfield Park.
Okay.
So
not in the house, so they'll have no idea what's going on.
Of course not. Yeah. So her mother said something about her weight, was really concerned about her weight because they have not been eating.
So they're like stick thin.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, she's just helping Paula with a diet. She said that Paula was overweight. So, she was going on a diet, so Sylvia was helping her.
Oh my God.
And when she went and talked to her, like, she kind of took her by the hands and was like, honey, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And her eyes were filling up with tears, and Gertrude kind of jumped in and was like, yeah, she's just bashful because her new figure has gotten a lot of attention from the boys.
I feel like honestly...
And of course that made her blush.
Oh my God. Like, it's easy for me to just be like, okay, bitch, just tell your parents what's going on. But what if
they don't do anything?
Right. Like, they can't. I feel like they're just in a position where they couldn't do anything because they're off making a living.
And then after that, the whole way home, she told Sylvia how much of a good girl she was while stroking her hair. Made her feel all good.
That's fucking insane.
And after this, things went back to being good. Like, Sylvia and Jenny were actually liking the place again, and the children were actually calling them their adoptive sisters.
But, like, how could you... I don't understand that. Like, how could you like a place like that that's just so abusive and disgusting? Like...
Beats the hell out of me.
I would never go back to any kind of person like that who would literally like just treat you like shit and then like rub your hair after, like, oh, everything's fine. Like, it's all good. Like, I'm getting like the creeps. Like, I am. What kind of power does this woman have to just like that?
Crazy. Boys like Sylvia. She looked better than the other kids.
That's gonna be a problem.
She had a better personality. She got so comfortable, she admitted to have made out with a boy and let him fill her up over her sweater. Paula and
girl, you should have kept that one to yourself.
Paula and Stephanie smiled at her.
And then Paula and Stephanie went and, like, stabbed her in the back. What the fuck?
And Gertrude slapped her and shoved her out of her chair. Shoved her so hard she hit her head on the plaster wall and, like, white stuff was falling on her.
Oh my God. Dude.
Children gathered around and Gertrude stomped on her crotch, calling her a prostitute and saying she was pregnant, she's ruined, she's a whore, she's a prostitute.
Because she basically did what, like, any other teenage girl would do, make out with a guy and let him, like, fill her up. But that's...
She said, you took money from a man to buy yourself more sweets to stuff your face than he stuffed you.
Aww.
Then she ordered the boys to grab her legs and spread them.
No. No. This is not going...
Repeatedly stomped her crotch. If you are godly children, you will hate this whore.
Oh my God. They literally, like, kicked her in the vagina?
No, like, stomped.
They stomped her vagina.
She did.
Like,
Only Gertrude stomped her vagina.
ooh, girl.
Multiple times. So Sylvia got up. Her feet were wobbling in pain and reached for a chair to sit in. She turned around, went to go sit in it, and Gertrude snatched the chair from underneath. Sylvia fell and cried in pain. Dude, that's to hurt.
Like, I can't. Like, just even having, like, a period just sucks. But, like, the thought of even just getting stomped in the vagina just...
And she bent over nose to nose with Sylvia and said, "Whores are not fit for chairs." And that was the new rule. No sitting.
Oh, no.
No chairs. She said a couple of times she would forget and, like, just go sit on the couch just to have her beat her.
Oh, my God. That's so fucked.
So, Sylvia went to school and told everybody that Patricia and Stephanie were prostitutes.
Oh, my God.
Just
like, why even that's a good idea?
Yeah, like, why? But at the same time, like, if that's the only place you can control what happens.
Yeah, I understand.
You know. Well, Stephanie's boyfriend didn't like that very much. His name was Coy Hubbard.
Coy Hubbard.
Ooh. Didn't we have a guy like
Coy? Yeah,
what was his last name?
Jones.
Oh,
Coy Jones.
I don't know. Coy Hubbard. But he went to Gertrude and said that he would love to teach Sylvia a lesson.
Oh, my God.
And of course, Gertrude loved that idea.
Yeah, let me just let everybody else kind of beat up on these girls while I'm doing it. Like, of course she loved it.
So, as soon as Sylvia walked through the door, Coy confronted her and punched her in the face.
Ugh!
And then, after he punched her, that he bragged about it. Like, he knew judo. He was the best at judo. Best in his class. After he threw her and flipped her, he picked her up, flipped her, and slammed her on the ground. He did judo. I know, so
it's like I cannot believe this is like real life. Like, this happens.
Oh my God. So Gertrude was like, "Whoa, we can't do this in here. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could get broken.
Oh my God.
You need to take this down to the basement."
Forget this human being. Worry about the stuff in my house.
Yeah.
It's probably just trash.
Absolute trash. So, took her down to the basement, flipped her some more, flipped her, slammed her. Well, first he pulled her up by her hair and drug her to the basement, and then continued to slam her while Gertrude watched. When done, he was walking up the stairs, and Gertrude looked at him and squeezed his thigh and said he could come practice his judo on Sylvia anytime he wanted.
Fuck. Ooh, what next? Like, she's got to be, like, bruised up, Bradley.
Dude, And that was the first time Sylvia slept in the basement. She returned to school after the weekend on Monday.
Oh my God.
It gets so much worse. There was this girl, her name was Anna Cisco.
Okay.
She was Sylvia's friend at school, and she would walk her home every day. Well, every day, Anna would ask to come in, and she's like, no, you can't come in, sorry. Well, one day, it was a weekday, and she was like, all right, fine, come in. Nobody's home. So, came in, Gertrude sitting there, I was like, hey, let me talk to you for a minute. Sylvia, why don't you go get her something to drink? And when she came back, Anna slapped her in the face and
what?
And asked her, how dare you say those things about my mother? I'm going to tell everyone how big of a liar you are. And everyone who was once nice to her was suddenly very dismissive.
Oh my God. So, like, she's getting everybody to turn their back on them.
Anybody and everybody. There was this one day where she came in, there was a bunch of people there, including this girl named Judy Duke. She was twice her size, about a foot taller than Sylvia. And she came and just slapped her so hard, her mouth was dripping with blood.
Ooh.
She said, why are you telling people that my mom is a hooker? And then she walked out.
Oh my god.
And after she left, Gertrude told Jenny, her sister, to hit her.
I'm sort of speechless at this moment because it's just insane to me how much power this woman has over anybody who comes in that house.
Yes, it's absolutely
and just
nuts.
Slap her.
Absolutely
She
nuts.
said this. She said that.
And she said, you better do it and stand by your family or Coy will take you to the basement too. Sylvia, she was like, no, of course not. I'm not going to do it. And Sylvia begged her to do it. And she slapped her. That was the first time she showed up to school with bruises. And that was when Coy Hubbard had free range to do
whatever he wanted?
Whatever he wanted.
Oh no.
He wasn't allowed to molest her though.
Okay. Whew.
That was the only thing, because if Gertrude knew that, then he was cheating on her daughter.
Oh, right.
There was the tracksuit incident. So what happened was, at school, in gym class, they need a tracksuit. Right? So she asked Gertrude for the tracksuit. Of course, Gertrude's like, no, I'm not buying you shit. Like, deal with it. They can get over it that you don't have a tracksuit.
You don't need it. Just
yeah.
Do the last.
Do I look like I have tracksuit money?
Right.
No. And this bitch is scary looking. Hold on, let me show you a picture of her.
Yeah, I'm scared. Oh no.
This is what she looked like.
Oh no.
At the time.
Yeah, I'd be pretty terrified.
She looked like a meth head.
She does.
Look, and this is her at the trial, just like.
She's like, whatever. Look how it's like just. She's like, can I get over this be over with now? Like, that's insane.
It's
I'm bothered.
insane. Yes. So what Sylvia did was, because she needed a tracksuit, she went into someone else's gym locker and stole the tracksuit. Well, when she got home and she tried to wash it, Gertrude caught her. And she was like, you stole this? And it was the candy incident all over again.
No.
Like, you stole this? What the hell? You're a thief. Stomped on her crotch a little more. And then she's like, you know what we do with thieves? And she pulled out a cigarette, lit it, and put out her cigarette on every single one of her fingertips.
Oh my God.
And then, in front of the neighborhood boys, pulled her skirt up, panties down, and beat her with a belt. And everyone put a cigarette out on her.
What the fuck?
And Coy, Stephanie's boyfriend, put one out right beside her vagina. He didn't put it on her vagina because Stephanie would have gotten mad.
Just right beside it. Like, not on it, just beside it.
Yeah, no big deal. From then on, she was a human ashtray.
Oh my God.
And from the lack of nutrition and sleep, caused them not to heal.
You're just getting infected.
They looked the same a week, 2 weeks, than they did the very first day.
Oh my God.
And her menstrual cycle stopped.
She's not eating anything, so
yeah,
it's gotta stop. That's so bad.
And I'm sure, like, the crotch stop.
That's not helpful
at all
either.
You know, a couple Passion and Coke bottles for food. When she got home, Drew told her to strip down, and handed her an empty Coke bottle, and told her to give them a show like she does when she's out whoring. Grabbed her hand and let it down to her bruised vagina. It was all black and blue.
Yeah.
And the boys yelled, do it, do it.
Ew.
Of course they did, right?
Right.
Like, who
Gross.
wouldn't want to see that? So she put it inside and it hit an obstruction and it wouldn't come out. Sylvia screamed for help, for anybody to help her. Gertrude ripped it out of her, and there was blood and urine in the bottle. I was so confused. She's like, what do you want me to do? Like, she didn't understand. Sylvia passed out from the pain. She tried to hide and clean the sheets. Of course, Gertrude caught her. You are not fit to live with humans. You are not fit for chairs. You are not fit for clothes. You are not fit for beds. She was like, please, I need a doctor. Something's wrong. Kicked her down to the basement. Literally kicked her down the stairs to the basement. She's like, you need a doctor, Sylvie? Do you have doctor money?
Oh my fucking God. This bitch.
And for that, since she was, all dirty from the urine, they gave her a bath. This other boy, his name was Richard Hobbs. He was 14. She ordered them to put her in the bathtub. Richard's like, no, I can't do that. The water is hot as a kettle. Gertrude took him into the room alone, came out wiping her mouth.
God.
They gave her a bath in scalding hot water, scrubbed her with salt.
Her wounds that
all over
haven't healed.
Exactly.
Oh, this poor baby.
So, have more baths like that throughout the week, sometimes 3 to 4 times a day. She was brought down food. She was forced to eat it with her hands. Also, clean up her feces from the basement. Feed it to her.
No fucking way.
Yeah, literally force her mouth open and throat. After, it just became a nuisance to clean it up, they had Sylvia pee and shit in a coffee can. That way it would be easier to, just grab the coffee can and put it in her mouth.
Oh my God. This just gets worse and worse as the story goes on.
Yes.
And I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how, not just one woman can be so cruel to somebody else, but everybody.
It's absolutely disgusting. And I don't know how anybody let it happen. Have you ever heard of the riot effect? I think it's called the riot effect, the crowd effect. But it's pretty much saying if everybody's doing it, there's no problem with people doing it.
Right.
Even though in normal circumstances, do it.
Yeah.
But if everybody else is doing it, and there's
especially an older woman who's a authority figure.
Yeah. It's insane. So, Sylvia had a sister, and her name was Diana. Well, Jenny wrote Diana a letter stating all the horrors they were going through. She assumed that she was being dramatic, and she had her own drama with her husband, so she just kind of ignored it. Visit the house, opened the door, and said that she wasn't invited in because Lester told her that she wasn't allowed to see the girls. He came outside to dump out the trash, and she was still out there. And don't talk to me, you'll get me in trouble. She told me not to talk to you. And so Diana called the police, called CPS. Always stay with figures. They told them that Sylvia was a whore. She was prostituting. She was prostituting herself out to marry men. And sometimes the wives would get involved and beat her up. That's why she had all bruises and stuff. Yeah. And she was a whore. That looked like that. Also, her ex-husband was a prime sheriff.
Had it in with everybody.
After this, they're charging a nickel for people to go to the basement and see Sylvia and beat her.
Oh my God.
Within a few weeks, Sylvia became weak and couldn't move, to the point where they would beat her and she wouldn't do it.
She took it because she couldn't do anything
she
else.
Wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't scream. She wouldn't. The cigarette burns always made her scream.
Yeah.
When that was over with, she looked so disheveled. People stopped coming.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't fun. She wasn't screaming. She
just wasn't giving them the reaction they wanted.
Yeah. So what does Gertrude do? She starts charging $0.25 for people to throw her down the basement stairs.
Oh, what the fuck is wrong with this woman?
And then Coy started to rape her.
Was he still with Stephanie or what?
Yes, but at that point,
just a secret.
Nobody was around when he went to the basement to throw her.
So this poor girl went through all this bullshit, and now she's getting raped.
Richard came down and said she would give Sylvia one last chance. Richard carried her to the bed, Told her that all she would have to do is not pee the bed. Possible. Because ever since the Coke bottle incident, she can't control it.
Right.
It just comes
just
out.
like even thinking about that. It's just...
It like protruded her bladder or something, and she can't. Possible, and she set her up to fail. Gertrude woke up and screamed at Sylvia with a knife, gave her some clothes, walked her downstairs, and told her to strip for the boys. It's the last show before you go into the basement.
The last time she was allowing anybody back down there to see her? Or?
No, this was the last time she was going to, give them a show before she stayed in the basement.
Okay.
For the rest of her days. With skin and bones, she stripped off all of her clothes, Coke bottle, and she inserted it inside and handed it to Gertrude. Too confident, she was too
nonchalant about it. She just did it.
So
that wasn't good enough.
Exactly. So Gertrude yelled at her to get dressed, ordered the boys to take off her clothes, and to gag her with her sleeve. This is where it gets kind of really bad. Up sewing needles and pinned her to the ground, and she ordered Richard to write, "I'm a prostitute and proud of it," into her stomach. He did not know how to spell prostitute, so he asked her how to spell prostitute, and she wrote it down for him. Didn't cry. Of course, Gertrude was pissed. Coy threw her around, and still she didn't cry. So that night, Jenny went down to the basement, and Sylvia told her, "I'm going to die. I feel it. I'm about to die." Gertrude carried her to bed, nice bath the next morning, dressed her, took her to the kitchen, told her to write a letter that she dictated. Said she was a whore, Gertrude and the family hell. And she went off with some boys and for sex, and she got beat up. To sign her name, and Gertrude snatched the paper and was like, "They don't know your name.
Right.
It's fine. You don't have to write it." Punched Sylvia in the stomach over and over. Beat her with a curtain rod. Left her there to die. Sylvia that night took a spade head, pounded it against the wall of the basement all night. She died. That's when and where she died.
Oh my God.
Called the cops. They gave him the letter. It was to give the cops the letter, and then that night she was going to, they were going to take her body to the dump and just leave it there.
Yeah.
When the cops got there and they were going to leave, Jenny passed them and said, "If you get me out of here, I'll tell you everything." So that's when she told them everything. And a neighbor came out that night and said that he heard Sylvia hitting the basement
I didn't
wall
do anything about
with
it.
spade. Nope. Because over there it was so crazy. You always heard noises over there. So they didn't.
It was just nothing. Yeah. Just like a normal night.
They didn't think anything of it. So autopsy showed Sylvia had over 100 cigarette burns. Some were third-degree burns.
Oh my God.
Muscle damage, nerve damage. But cause of death was brain hemorrhage. Her lips when he was throwing her around. So they were literally just hanging off.
Holy, I'm just speechless right now. That's
absolutely insane. Her throat and her vagina was swollen shut. Everything that Gertrude told them, the whole story, how she was a whore and this, that, and the other, her hymen was still intact.
Coke bottles going up in there and everything like that. That's just insane.
I think I think that stomping on her crotch, bad, that she couldn't reach it that far.
Yeah.
You know? So it was just, Coy raped her.
Right.
And
Nothing.
still it wasn't broken. So, end all. The murder, Gertrude, Paula, Stephanie, John Jr., Coy Hubbard, and Richard. Charged with murder.
What happened to their parents?
Oh, they were devastated. You know, they came back, and because my parents called them, and you know, so they were absolutely devastated that they left their child with this monster. I may point out, when rumor that Sylvia was pregnant, Paula was pregnant.
Ooh.
17-year-old.
Yeah.
So Paula had contractions, and she named her baby girl.
Don't say it.
Gertrude.
Why? First of all, that name just is gross. Gertrude.
Oh my god.
And to name it after your fucking insane mother.
Yes. It's crazy. Stephanie's charges got dropped because she got a plea deal for telling everything, and that's how we have all this information.
Right.
Hard to determine Coy Hubbard and Richard if they were actually responsible because they were kids. Coy Hubbard was 16.
You know, like at those ages, you just know better. Like
see, at that age, like if someone told me you can like go to town and do anything, like I don't know. I don't know.
I
know
14 and 16 are two completely different ages.
Yeah.
I just feel like 14 you're still impressionable.
16,
but like 16
you have so much fucking testosterone in you. Like, I don't know. I don't see. I mean, do I put him to blame? Yes.
I was never that angry at 16, right? I've never been anybody else, but that's. I don't know. But just
who did you beat up, Vicky?
Nobody.
Casey? Huh?
No, it's just like I think there's a difference in like getting in a fight at school, and consistently going to somebody's basement to fuck some girl up who I don't even know.
Yeah,
that's.
Yeah, I think Richards should have definitely been dropped. He's 14, man. Like,
he did that for the rest of his life.
I mean, I don't think any of them got dropped. So, that's the case.
That was insane.
It's absolutely insane.
I was not expecting that, but that was hella insane.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I could understand, getting... Not that I understand it, but I can understand it more of, your family, just, inside the family, y'all know. But it was everybody. Everyone. The kids in the neighborhood came over just to put their cigarette out.
And I just meeting some random stranger like, hey, I'm going to pay you $20 a week to watch my kids for the next few months. I would never in my life do that. Like, I know things are different now, I guess, because like nobody like does that anymore. But it's like still, you see that people are still fucking crazy towards kids.
That was 1965.
Oh, but I mean it's 2020, so never mind.
That is the most insane story that I could bring to you today. You wanted gore. That
was intense. Like and that was it. But they straight up killed her.
Torture.
Like it. You have to be fucked up to want to see that much pain.
Yeah.
And then when you hurt, they can't even respond to that pain anymore. You want them to hurt even more.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's mind blowing.
Well, I got nothing else because,
Me on. I can't be on tweet. I cannot wait to be on again. I can't even fucking talk. Like I'm just like still just
mind blown.
I'm gonna be thinking about this on the way home. I'm gonna have a dream about it. I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna be in the group chat tomorrow. I'm like, Caitlin, you don't want to go.
No!
No.
Caitlin's really not going to want to go.
This is just... I feel like this is just going to sit with me for like a few days. Like, and I'm just going to be like, I'm going to watch it when I get home.
Watch the movie.
I'm for sure going to watch it when I get home.
There is a movie based on it. It's called An American Crime. I believe it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm for sure going to watch it.
Watch it. Make Chris watch it. All of the things. Your kids watch it.
Make everybody watch it. I'm going to call my sister. Hey, you got to watch this movie. I just learned about this. Call my aunt.
It's insane.
It's
absolutely bananas.
Get on there.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for... All right. Well, that's the episode for today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you want to join my Facebook group, it's Murder with Friends Podcast. My Instagram is @MurderWithFriends. And my email, if you want to send in some stories or case suggestions, murderwithfriends@yahoo.com. And remember, if you're thinking about murder, talk about it with friends.